If you're planning those incredible adventures you've spent a lifetime earning, then you already know this. True freedom isn't just about where you're going. It's about the peace of mind you take with you. Today, we're going to tackle a huge piece of that freedom puzzle, mastering travel insurance after 60. And we're not going to treat it like a chore. No, we're going to treat it like a clear-cut strategy for protecting your financial independence.
Let's just jump right in because I think we've all been there. You know that moment, you're so excited about the trip, you sit down to dot the I's and cross the T's, and then you're staring at this document that feels like it was written in another language. It's just dense with jargon and exclusions and fine print that seems designed to make you anxious, not to calm your nerves. You start to feel like you're being, well, mathematically targeted. And you know what? You're not.
So what is actually happening in that moment? Well, that feeling of being put under a microscope, it has a name. And understanding it is the absolute first step to getting back in control. We're about to look at this fundamental shift that happens behind the scenes in the insurance world. Let's call it the actuarial asymmetry.
Okay, so what does this actually mean? Well, it's pretty simple when you break it down. You, the traveler, are looking for a blanket of total security. You just want to know that no matter what happens, you're covered. Simple. But the industry, they're not really in the business of selling peace of mind. They're selling a product that breaks down and prices every single risk. They're running the numbers on your age, your specific health conditions, all with cold, hard math. And they're creating a policy designed around what they won't cover. That's the clash. That's the asymmetry.
And this is the crucial mindset shift you have to make. You're not just looking for the perfect policy that covers everything. That doesn't really exist. Instead, you're learning to spot the precisely engineered holes in the safety net. That feeling of confusion you get when reading the policy, that's not a bug, it's a feature of the system. And once you really get that, once you accept it, you can start navigating it like a pro, protecting yourself from the gaps they built right in.
So why is this so important? Because this isn't just about some confusing paperwork. It's about protecting the very life you've spent decades building. The stakes are just incredibly high. If you don't understand this system, you can end up in a state of what we'll call coverage fragility, a place where you think you're protected, but in reality, your entire retirement is totally exposed. And here is probably the biggest, most dangerous assumption people make. At home, you've got a great safety net with Medicare, right? It's comprehensive. But the second you get on that plane for an international trip, poof, it's gone. Medicare almost never covers you outside the US. And yeah, some Medigap plans offer a little bit for foreign travel emergencies, but they often have these strict lifetime limits that one single bad day abroad could just completely wipe out. This is the first and biggest hole in the net for most of us.
Which brings us to this key idea, coverage fragility. It's that awful state of believing you're fully insured when you're actually not. And it's caused by all those things we talked about, hidden clauses, weird limits, and technicalities buried deep in the fine print. Probably the most common and dangerous of these is something called the stability period, or sometimes the look-back period.
Let me make this real for you. Imagine your doctor adjusts your blood pressure medication, say 2 months before that big cruise you've been planning forever. Just a small, responsible tweak. But the policy you bought has a 180-day look-back period. Now, if you have a cardiac event on that cruise, the insurer can look back, see that medication change, and say your condition was unstable, which makes it pre-existing, which means, sorry, you're not covered. Just like that, one simple doctor's visit could wipe out your entire claim, leaving you with a bill for hundreds of thousands of dollars. That is coverage fragility in action.
So how on earth do you defend yourself against a system like this? Well, it all starts with changing how you think about it. You have to go from being a passive buyer to a proactive strategist. This is the turning point, right here. It's where you stop just hoping for the best and you start managing for it.
Just look at this comparison. It says it all. The passive vacationer, they're looking for the lowest price. They click buy, and they just hope it's all going to be okay. But the chief risk officer of their own journey, they ask totally different questions. It's not, is this cheap? It's, does this contract protect my retirement savings? Does it defend my independence? You have to become the CEO of your own travels, making smart decisions to protect your most important assets.
And this is probably the single most important reframe in this whole conversation. A really good travel insurance policy isn't an expense, like a souvenir or a fancy dinner. It is a strategic investment. What you're really buying is contractual certainty. You are buying the legal right to handle a crisis on your terms and to come home without putting the financial independence you worked your entire life for at risk. Okay, so we've got the mindset right. Now we need the actual tools to put it to work. And listen, the goal isn't to become an insurance lawyer overnight. Instead, we're going to use a really simple but powerful framework that just focuses on the big things, the stuff that can really change your life. Let's call it the Binary Coverage Protocol.
Think of these 4 steps as your financial defense system. So let's walk through them. First, and this is your #1 priority, the Pre-Existing Condition Waiver rule. You must buy your policy within a really short window, usually about 14 to 21 days after you make your very first payment for your trip. When you do this, you legally force the insurer to cover your actual medical history. It's huge. Second, the primary payer filter. Your policy has to say in black and white that it's primary coverage. This is so important. It means they pay the hospital first, directly. If it says secondary, that means you pay first, and then you have to fight to get your money back. We'll get to the next 2 right now.
And this brings us to step 3, the Medevac threshold. Just look at this number for a second. $500,000. That is the absolute minimum your policy needs to have for medical evacuation. An air ambulance from Europe or from a cruise ship with a whole medical team, that can easily cost hundreds of thousands of dollars out of your own pocket. Anything less than this number puts your finances in real jeopardy. This number is not negotiable. Now, all of this leads us to step 4, the stability period audit. This is where you proactively check for that look-back window we talked about. You make sure your recent medical history is lined up with the policy's rules. So when you put these 4 steps together, they're more than just tips. They are sovereign asset protections. This whole protocol forces the policy to cover you as you actually are, makes sure you aren't paying for a crisis out of pocket, protects you from those catastrophic evacuation bills, and helps you spot the hidden gaps before they can do any harm.
I know. This can feel like a lot. It can seem really tedious, but it's so important to reframe this whole process. This isn't a burden. This is an act of wisdom. The hard work you put in right here, it's a reflection of the incredible life you've built and your commitment to protecting it.
You know, what this really all comes down to is a form of self-respect. When you read that fine print, when you ask the tough questions, you're not being a difficult customer. You are being a prudent steward. You are honoring the decades of work and saving and planning that got you right here, to this point. You're a master of foresight, and you're just applying the wisdom you've earned to make sure your future stays secure.
And here's the beautiful payoff. The whole point of all this diligence, it's not to create fear, it's to eliminate it. Real freedom to explore the world, unrestricted exploration, that doesn't come from just ignoring the risks. It comes from having a contract in your pocket that you actually understand, one you know will protect you. This piece of paper is what turns a trip from a source of anxiety into a source of pure joy.
So, let's bring this all together into one final actionable idea. This is about taking everything we've talked about and turning it into a simple, immediate action that's going to solidify your new role as the Chief Risk Officer of your own adventures.
Before we get to the challenge, I want you to let this one thought really sink in. This has never been about protecting a vacation deposit. It's about protecting your house, your savings, your legacy, your independence. A medical crisis overseas without the right coverage is paid for with the assets you have sitting right at home. That's what's really at stake here.
Okay, so with that in mind, what is the single most important deadline you need to worry about? I'll give you a hint. It's not the day your flight leaves, and it's not your hotel check-in time. It's something far, far more critical to your financial health.
This is it, the Pre-Existing Condition Waiver deadline. That short, non-negotiable 14 to 21-day window after you make your very first trip payment. Honestly, missing this deadline is the single biggest mistake a traveler over 60 can make. It's the difference between a policy that works for you and one that can work against you. So your challenge is simple. Find this deadline for your next trip and mark it in red on your calendar. When you master this timeline, you master the risk.
You know, at the end of the day, being prepared, that's the ultimate form of freedom. By taking these steps, you are not limiting your life. You are enabling it. You are creating the foundation for confident, joyful, and truly unrestricted adventure. So audit the fine print, secure that waiver, and go forward to lead your life with the profound and lasting peace that you have absolutely 100% earned.